MAME phase.
I don't know if it was coincidence or if somebody was in the know, but during my Valentine's stream, the subject of Miss Pac-Man Twin came up. Now, for those not aware, Miss Pac-Man Twin is one of two rather famous Pac-Man hacks, or Miss Pac-Man hacks in this case. The first of those being Crazy Otto, which is where Miss Pac-Man came from in the first place, and then you've got Miss Pac-Man Twin, which is a hack from Argentina, which adds two-player simultaneous play to Miss Pac-Man. It has eluded everybody looking for it for a long time, or when it has shown up, people have not wanted to get it dumped. It's just a very rare board because it was exclusive to the Argentina market, a hack made in Argentina for that audience. So naturally, it's quite rare. Anyway, the same evening, Roberto Fresca, who's one of the people who's been looking for it, added a little teaser to his page. So yeah, I'm gonna quickly change to another view. Here we go. See, so say 14th of the 2nd, Valentine's Day, at 10 o'clock at night, he put up this. Are you ready? With a picture of Miss Pac-Man Twin. Now, I say he's the one who's been looking for Miss Pac-Man Twin for a long time. He's got an entire page dedicated to it. They say Susilu made it 92, 93, so it was quite late for a Pac-Man, but he's got a story about trying to look for it and everything else. He's got some videos from the time he did find it but couldn't get it dumped. But yeah, fast forward a few days, and this pull request came into the main GitHub from Roberto himself to add support for Miss Pac-Man Twin, crediting Roberto, Mirko, Arcade Hacker, Rick 2000, YTSC Jam, and Recreativs.org. I'm sorry for the pronunciation there. So yeah, that actually added support for Miss Pac-Man Twin to MAME. And you say this is one that's been people look for a long time. The old MAME site here had it up there people just think it was never going to be found. It was always an odd one to look at with these sort of red and green dots. Is the image out of focus? No, that is how it looks. So, with that in mind, and with that submitted, let's just have a look. What's the surname? Miss Pac Twin. Here we go. So yeah, here it is running in MAME. It has standard set of dip switches. You've got your skip screen, which is the same sort of regular. You've got jammer, which seems to be speed. You've got your bonus live, your lives, your coinage. Immediately you'll notice from the attract mode, you do have the two different coloured dots. The red ones are slightly off centre in one direction. I think the green ones are slightly off centre in another direction. This is standard Pac-Man video hardware, so it's not got an extra layer or anything. If I go into the tile map viewer, you'll see, that's the wrong screen to do it on, but hold on, let's get back to the gameplay. Come on, there we go. You see it's all on the single tile map, and that is because they added tiles with multiple dots into the tile set, so they can render them like that without adding an extra layer. If I coin it up, add 2 coins, you can press both start buttons, and now you can control both the characters. Obviously, this is meant for 2 players and 2 players at the same time, so trying to play it with a single player is quite tricky. The red Pac-Man eats the red dots, the green Pac-Man eats the green dots, and this is how it all works. Now, you can put your characters together just by putting them in the same spot, which, if you're playing like this, it's easier. And you'll instantly notice that there is no slowdown when you're eating a dot in this version. The Miss Pac-Mans always move at the same speed. So they've changed that. Also, when you eat a ghost, there's no delay eating the ghost. So yeah, I guess these are changes they made to make the game work better this way. Also, when you die, when you get hit, you spin around on the spot, then respawn with a moment of invulnerability, rather than it restarting you from the start position or anything. You can continue playing. When one player is out, I don't know which player's going to die first. Who's This is a bit of a chase, isn't it? They both died together. But that didn't demonstrate my point. But when one player dies, I'm going to stop again. When one player dies, the other one can just continue on their own. So let's intentionally kill off the... I'll just go straight to the ghost, didn't I? Let's intentionally kill off this player. And avoid the ghost with that player. There we go. I don't know how the multiple players affects the ghost AI, because obviously Pac-Man is quite famous for the way the AI chases down your character. You see, the green player is now dead, and the game will just continue without the green player. All I have to do is clear the red dots out the maze. So there's no startup jingle when you start the game. That's been stripped out. Also, if you notice, the fruit's gone. There's no fruit bouncing around mazes. I think that's because the sprite slot that would have been used for the fruit is now being used for the second player, so it had to be removed. When the second maze starts here, you see, there are just the red dots because the green player is dead. It does let you enter extra coins during gameplay, but it does not update the credit counter at the bottom. I'm wondering if there's a missing coin lockout and it isn't meant to accept coins during gameplay. It will show them after credits have just been inserted after I die, but until then it doesn't look like there's any more credits being inserted in the machine. So that might be the programming oversight with the hack. It might just be that the coins are meant to be locked out at that point. But, you know, playing with one player, you start slightly inside a wall there, where it doesn't seem to make too much difference. That doesn't happen on the original game, you know, the original Miss Pac-Man, only this hack. However, unlike the Club Pac-Man hack where you can get stuck in walls, that doesn't really make any difference to how this plays. It's quite strange to play it. I'm assuming this is a hack of the Miss Pac-Man code rather than a completely original creation. It still has the original graphics ROMs for the sprites, including the bits that aren't used, like the fruit. But it does play quite differently, but I think that all those are changes to accommodate the second player. You can see the board counter at the bottom is a bit different too, the way it's increasing. And I think by now, a regular version of Miss Pac-Man would have played a cutscene, and that's something that's missing here. None of the cutscenes play at all. The graphics are still there, but they just don't play. Again, I'm not really sure why that would be. Maybe it had to be cut to make room in the ROM for adding support for the two-player mode. Or maybe they felt they wanted a faster flowing game. I think maybe some of the other speed hacks cut it out too. But yeah, it's got the different mazes. As you see, this is the different mazes in the first one I was playing on, and it works. You can play it as a Pac-Man game as a single player if you want, just with a few missing features. I'm just going to kill off the character now. There we go, game over. And I say inserted some coins during play there, so it's actually showing the 2 credits I inserted during play just then. A bit odd, but that's how it seems to be working. I'll start another 2-player game quickly, and you can do the same with the green character. You can keep the green one alive and play through it as if you're a single player on the green side. We shall quickly complete this maze. I do need to kill the other red off though. I have to check if maybe the ghosts are more likely to pursue the red character, because that's the normal Pac-Man character, obviously, with the second player being the one that's been added. But in this case, look, they seem to be chasing me as the green character. The idea was to okay, so actually, no, it looks like I was incorrect. You can't play it with just the green character as long as the red character's alive, because I've cleared all the green dots and the level hasn't ended. So this is live testing, folks. Finding out how the game actually works. Green is now... So I am now going to have to actually kill off the red character and see what happens if I just leave the green character alive. See if I can actually clear the level that way, or if it stops me clearing the level. These are the things you have to test. So, yeah, another 2 coins. Right. Red Pac-Man. It's actually a lot more difficult to kill off characters than you would have thought. Come on. There we go. Also, what would happen if you were to kill off the character after eating all the green dots but not all the red dots? I don't know. Probably should be tested, shouldn't it? Unless I just missed a green dot and I was being blind last time, but I'm pretty sure I ate them all. So, yeah, this is... I tried a brief test to see if it ran. This is the first time I've tried playing it in any meaningful way. Although meaningful, I'm not sure. I'm not really playing it well, am I? There we go. You see. So yeah, you can finish it as long as the red player is dead, it appears, and it will continue on the green side with just the green dots. Okay, that makes sense. Dip switches, like many of the Miss Pac-Man hacks, it's got a fast dip switch. So if I change that, you get a fast version. There we go, you see. Speeding around the maze, zipping around. And again, of course, that works if you've got both players enabled. Just a fast two-player version. Which is much more difficult to manage because, well, you're meant to play it with a friend, aren't you? You're meant to be sat here playing with somebody else because this is a simultaneous version of Pac-Man, Miss Pac-Man. That is the appeal of it. That is what makes it unique. And playing it like this is obviously just cheating because I'm controlling both characters. Still, I managed to do it wrong, but yeah. I don't recommend playing it like this. It just messes with your head. Poor Miss Pac-Man. Maybe they should have called it Pac Sisters or something like that. I don't know. But Twin, I guess Twin works, doesn't it? Anyway. It's a bit different. You've probably not seen this before, so it's very rare. It was only distributed in Argentina. Apparently I glitched the game slightly there, somehow. But again, with a hack, maybe you expect a few glitches from time to time. It is encrypted. Looking at the driver code, there's a bit of scrambling going on. There's an unknown chip on the board. Roberto has documented what was on the board. It's a plugin that plugs into a bootleg Pac-Man PCB, like many of the Miss Pac-Man bootlegs. But there's a few extra chips on there. Probably one of them is responsible for the encryption. But yeah, it runs. I don't think anybody's seen this outside of Argentina for many, many years. I don't know how popular it was back in even the 90s when it was released over there. But it now runs in MAME, and I have to say I am really, really pleased for Roberto because I know he spent a long time, 20 plus years looking for this, trying to find it because, I mean, it's from his native country. He's wanted to see it emulated, and it's evaded him for that long. So I guess he's a very happy person right now to see this running in MAME, see this dumped, see this preserved, and you know, like I say, in the emulation scene, it's one of the two Pac-Man related hacks that people really talk about, and I don't think we're ever going to see a proper Crazy Otto. There's too many legal complications with that. It's too obvious who owns it. Yeah, I don't think that's ever going to just appear somewhere randomly because people would get in far too much trouble and nobody wants that. I think for Crazy Otto, you just have to make do with the user hack that was made, and I think is in HB MAME supported there. And that's a pretty good user hack. It adds the animation frames, it uses graphics based on reference material, so it probably plays as close to the proper Crazy Otto as you're ever going to see. Maybe that will make its way into MAME one day because I've seen people trying to scam people by selling boards as if they're the original version of that, when they're clearly not. They're just based on that hack that was made. But who knows? What the subject of this video is this Miss Pac-Man hack, and you know, it's very impressive to see running, especially when maybe you would have expected it to be worse than this. You know, rougher around the edges. It seems like a I mean, a fair amount of care has been put into it. It's not perfect. There are a few issues, but Namco never tried anything like this. There was never a proper version like this, at least not back then. I think some of the modern multiplayer Pac-Man games do something maybe a bit like this. I can't remember, but back in the 90s, if this had been released earlier, which wasn't, but this was different, and the fact it still runs on a modified version of the original Pac-Man hardware is impressive. It shows that this could have been done as an official option had Namco wanted to, but they didn't. So it's unique. You're not going to find anything else like this from the time period running in MAME. Yeah, so maybe after the next release, or give it a try, have a look at it, something like that. I mean, if you lived in Argentina, maybe you remember it. It just shows what a global market the arcades were, and how every country probably had some little specific bits and pieces developed there that have got to be discovered at some point. This just being one of the ones that was well known prior to it actually being dumped and emulated. So we'll see what else gets found over the years. Obviously, markets like Spain were huge. There's loads of Spanish games, Italy, loads of Italian games. Over here, we've got a bunch of games we made in the UK, and I was looking at some of the Soviet Russian games on a stream the other day. There's just so much out there, and this is up there with those unique versions that were only released for one market, and otherwise without a project like MAME, and the fans in the community would probably have just been forgotten by now. So it feels good to me to know that now this is documented and can be seen and can be analysed, and see how this was made, see what the hacks were, maybe try and work out why some of the things were removed from the game. Was it space? Did they just not work properly with 2 players? But anyway, I'm going to finish things there, because this was just meant to be a quick little bit of coverage, not rehearsed, not scripted. Just having a look at this edition that, took me by surprise, even if I think maybe somebody was in the know when they mentioned it on the stream the other day. But there you go. I'm going to quit out now and end this. So thank you. As always, if you enjoyed this, please hit like and subscribe, and you'll get more coverage of things that are happening in MAME. I plan on doing more live streams soon. So for now, goodbye, and I hope you enjoy your day.